Hello, friends, and welcome to the last episode of Booked this year, of the year 2025. It's very exciting. Tons of people have already arrived, which is really cool. So, happy New Year's Eve to my guest, Ellie Bendon. How are you doing today?
I'm very well, thanks, and happy New Year to you and to everyone watching as well. Yeah,
I'm glad to have you here. So, if anybody wonders about any background noise, Ellie Bendon's already partying.
in South India, it's about 9:30 here. I've just come from another venue where I've done an hour of saxophone playing for another party. I came here to be somewhere slightly quieter, but they're having fun in the background as well. So apologies.
No,
There are also
don't
dogs
apologise.
one.
They're having fun. It's a good background noise, in my opinion. So we already have some people that have joined us. So I'm just going to say hi to a few people. So hello, Vicky. How you doing? We've got Sarah New here. I'm just going to whiz through past. I'm struggling already, obviously. We've got KP Malloy. How you doing? Oh, Chris Brand. I didn't know that was your username. Yeah. Welcome, everybody. It's time to get to know another author. So, the first thing that I'm going to ask you is for anyone that hasn't read any of your work, what can they expect from your books?
Okay, so at the moment I have two whodunits out with a lot of quirky British humour. I think Ben Elton trying to do Agatha Christie, which is funny because he's already done that. But I've taken it with a bit more Pratchett influence as well, and contemporary London setting. West London is very much my home. I've lived in a few places, but that's my favourite of them all. So yeah, you can expect a bit of weirdness, some themes of identity, and people getting into silly arguments, and hopefully it's quite funny all the way through, even while people are getting killed.
Well, so far I've been reading Anybody Can Murder. I have a question about the title in a minute. And it's so funny. It's like, what does it remind me of? It reminds me a little bit of, is it In the Loop? A little bit of that style of humor. It's very sassy and there's a lot of sarcasm from the very beginning. And what I appreciate is it's quite fast paced because I get so bored when people stick around too much, giving me too much description. But you're very much like it's a lot of like speech led
Yeah,
throughout.
I like dialogue. It's always been my favorite, so I write a lot of it.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun to read, so I can't wait to find out who done it. A question I had about the title, it's Anybody Can Murder. Is it because
Yes,
it's ABC?
yes. So
Amazing.
that is a direct reference to Agatha Christie, obviously ABC movies. But there is also a couple of Bollywood films. There might be three of them or more by now, called ABCD. Anybody Can Dance, and they're sort of very led stories. So there's a little nod to that as well.
Oh, cool. I only figured that out because I wrote it shorthand for my notes, and I was like, hang on a minute, I've solved it. I felt like a sleuth. It was very exciting for me.
The series title up, The Weapon and the Fruit, that doesn't jump out obvious to everyone until they come across the page where it's sort of pointed at. So yeah, I'll leave that with you.
Backwards. I'll work backwards. I'll go 2 and then 1, and then I'll find that out for myself. I love things like that, little nods to inspiration, and give when it gives you hints for the actual storyline. I love that very much. So Sarah had a question. Casual sax player? I'm going to assume not because I saw your massive poster earlier.
Yeah, I didn't expect there to be a massive poster. I was very surprised. We got into the entrance off the road up the driveway, and there was a fairly big one. I thought, oh, that's a big poster. And then we got into the actual entrance of the interesting bit where the stuff happens, and there was an even bigger one. And somebody put that together in almost no time at all. I think like 2 days when I actually confirmed that I was able to do it. And yeah, happy with that.
That's amazing.
So
That's
yeah, I'm not very casual when it comes to sax. I take it very seriously.
I can tell. It's my nephew plays the saxophone, and it's one of those things where I would love to have the patience to learn how to play an instrument like that. And it sounds amazing to me. I love jazz. but it always like baffles me when I watch people play the saxophone because I'm like, how do you know what to press? There's so many buttons,
Well,
which sounds really ignorant and stupid, but that's just me.
it's like typing on a computer keyboard. If you do it enough, your fingers know where to go.
That's a good point. That's a very good point. I remember watching my nephew once. I think he did like freestyle jazz for a school thing. And this is a secondary school, so I feel like that was quite a brave choice. And I cried because I was so impressed at how good it was. It was a lot of fun. So you're in South India at the moment.
Yes.
Is your time taken up a lot with music and performing?
Yeah, music is basically my day job, and I'm very lucky. I've joined a band here, which allowed me to get the right work visa to come and settle properly. We do a lot of shows, and I have lots of time left for writing, so it's absolutely brilliant.
Living the high life. I'm envious beyond belief. That's very, very cool. So how long have you been out there now? It's like a year. Is it been a year ish?
No, yeah, there are various ways to answer that. I made my permanent move in August, and then I had to go back to the UK for most of November because my lawyer had advised me to get one visa, and the government disagreed and made me go back and get another one. That was awkward. But I think it's sort of, I mean, I'm allowed to stay. I'm just waiting for the government to look at the registration and say, yeah, you owe us some money, and there you go. I think they're happy with the paperwork at least. So
good.
hopefully I'm hitting good now. Yeah.
Wow, that's very exciting. I mean, it sounds like, with the little that I've heard, it sounds like you have it kind of made in the shade. Because not a lot of people can carve out the time to do two creative things and make a living. So
yeah,
that's
the cost of living is so low here. I found a cheat code, I think.
Yeah, no kidding. So you had just finished a show just before you came here. So how was that? Was it busy? What kind of show was it?
It was actually, especially since Indians don't like to turn up to the last minute. For a thing like New Year, 8 to 9 o'clock is not the last minute. But yeah, we had fun. Some other musicians there. We had some live drummers and singers, and eventually we got another portable generator, which made it possible to do the whole thing at the last minute. That was a good set, and I was doing some reggae tunes and some Whitney Houston and some Stevie Wonder, and yeah, just having some fun. Oh, I think the loud recorded music has just started here, so I hope this is not going to be a problem.
I can still hear what you're saying. It's just background noise to me. So if anybody doesn't like it, they can turn it down. And that's totally fine. As long as I can still hear you, it's not a big deal. So being a writer and a musician, obviously those two things kind of tie together a bit. Did one of them come first? Have you always been a musician? Have you always been a writer? How has that worked for you?
No, I have been a musician for most of my life. Pretty early on that's what I wanted to do. I spent a bit of time as a classroom teacher, and then I had the courage to jump into that self-employment deep end and get into a load of debt and get out of it. And that was all going fine. Writing was something I just found interesting. I read a lot. I was curious about what went into writing a book, and then COVID happened, and my music work dried, and I had even more free time I didn't really want, and I thought, okay, let's try some writing. I realized that I was enjoying it even more than I thought I would, and I got a complete draft, and then I did a second draft, and I got some feedback, and I realized I need to improve this a lot, and I don't know how. And then my life started coming back, and I started getting music work, and I shelved the book, and then a few years later, I had another go, and then we got there, and me releasing 420 Blackboards almost a year ago, January this year, sorry.
Yeah, because I was looking at the release dates for both of the books in this series. So this series is the Weapon and the Fruit series. So the first one, 420 Blackboards, came out on the 7th of January, and then Anybody Can Murder came out the 7th of July. Did you write them both in quick succession and then just release them? Was it planned, or are you just really fast?
I had ideas for Anybody Can Murder before the release of 420 Blackboards. I mean, as I just explained, that was quite a long process, 420 Blackboards, especially the time it spent not being touched. And then once I'd released it, I then had I was still living in the UK at the time, but I had a month to spend in Hyderabad mostly, and I did a lot of writing, and I pretty much completed that first draft while I was in Hyderabad during January, and then I spent another few months polishing it and getting to where it was ready to publish, and then I was ready to set a publication date by I think April, and I thought I'll give myself some paper, and I thought wouldn't it be nice if it's exactly 6 months after the first one. So yeah,
it's. I mean,
and I've got ideas. But I'm writing something else first, which maybe we'll talk about later.
yes, absolutely. I mean, it's so far it's very strong piece of work. It doesn't feel like you wrote it in that short period of time, like between Jan, because that is short. Like 6 months from like writing the thing to releasing the thing is very short, and the covers are amazing. I love your cover art. They look so
Yeah, shall I
like they
shout
should
the
be.
artist?
Well, sorry.
Should I shout out the cover artist who
Please
did it?
do. Yes, please do.
Her name is Lisa Brewster. She works under the name of the Project. Yeah, but very happy with her work.
Yeah, it's very, very nice, and it ties the series together so beautifully, and it's very eye-catching. And I remember seeing these covers when you were first releasing them, and I kept thinking to myself, I need to read these books just purely because I love the covers, which is a ridiculous reason to choose a book. And I've only just gotten around to reading one of them.
Sorry,
You're cutting out quite a bit. I'm going to wait a second. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yeah, I think we might be okay again. Sorry about that.
Okay, cool. That's okay. It's all right. It's technology at its finest, and also this has got to be probably one of the busiest network times of the year, I'm sure. So that's totally fine. But yeah, I remember seeing these covers and thinking I need to read these, and having literally only started them like a week ago, because it is hard to. I was like, yeah, I'm going to read a book for every guest I have on. That's not easy. There are a lot of books, and some of them are 600 pages long. It's hard. So I'm always pleased when I get to one and I think, oh, I really like this. And this is one of them. So I have put the QR code. Of course, I have put the QR code on here, and I'm just going to pop the link into the chat for your website too. So if anybody's interested in checking these out. I also remember you saying that the UK version of Amazon is selling, is it both books for £4?
Yeah, they're doing a £4 discount off 420 blackboards on Amazon UK for the paperback.
Cool. Excellent. So check that out. It's worth getting a bargain, and also very fun. Yeah. So I mean, it must be very exciting to be able to commit so much time to writing. And I know that you are currently working on something a bit different to this series. Now's the time. Let's talk about it.
Oh well, okay. So murder mysteries always have my interest because I like puzzles and solving puzzles. But excuse me, there's some puppies having an argument behind me. Right. Anyway, yeah, some puppies behind me. We've got a whole list of newborn puppies with their mum and dad on the scene, and I think that's their dad trying to get into behave right now. Anyway,
I thought you said puffins, and I was really confused.
That'd be nice. No. So what am I working on? Yeah, I was talking about puzzles, and the other kind of puzzles that fascinate me were the role-playing game, fantasy adventures. And anyone who's in the UK in the 90s will remember a series called Nightmare, made by Anglia TV, where young children came on, basically had to guide one of their friends who was wearing a helmet so he couldn't see that he was in the green screen room, or probably blue screen in those days, with props and live actors having a lot of fun. And I used to play versions of Dungeons and Dragons and things with my friends, and I thought this would be a fun adventure story as well. And because I also love Terry Pratchett so much, I'll throw all of his humor into it, create a world that has its own properties in the way that Discworld is an analog of planet Earth, but also is different with different magic and creatures and things. I thought I'll do something like that. And I remember being advised to do a fantasy once, and a suggestion was made to create a magic system inspired by music theory. And as a serious music theory nerd, I wondered how far I could push that. So that's gone into it. And yeah, I've got think I'm working on the 5th draft of that now. I'm changing the ending after some very helpful beta feedback, and I want to brush up the dialogue a bit. We talked about dialogue earlier, and I'm having a lot of fun with the dialogue in this too. And I really hope to get this out soon. I don't want to make an actual promise that I'll have to hold myself to, but soon. Yeah.
Cool. Have you already worked on the cover art yet?
No, I haven't. I'm going to go back to the same artist and say, this is what I'm doing. You've done such a good job before. Do you fancy go at this and see what she says?
I hope that she says yes, because what she's done so far is amazing. I'd be interested to see this style as like a fantasy adventure type thing.
Yeah. I'm not sure what she'll do, because what we've on these books that hopefully people can still see on the screen is a result of me saying, right, I've written murder mysteries. Please make it obvious that it's a murder mystery. And then she said, okay, I know how to do that. And then she came up with these.
She did a good job. It's good.
Yeah.
It definitely. I mean, the knife, the fire. I feel like the murder's probably on the cards. So,
yeah. If I come up to me and say, "Oh, I think I know which book's covers you copied there," well, first of all, no, I got a pro to do these. I didn't do it myself, and secondly, I know who you're thinking of, and he wasn't first either.
Yeah, right. But it goes to show that, I mean, it covers can create a brand for a writer, and the more recognizable it is, obviously the more people will think of the more recognizable thing. But if it's still in the same sort of category, it goes to show that people are able to see it and immediately understand what they're in for. Yeah, it's, I think people really forget the importance of a good cover, because sometimes it can be the thing that sells the book at first, before people know what it's about, before people are talking about the content. And
Yeah.
I feel like it's so worth the investment. I mean, I understand that some people can't make that investment, and that's, you know, that's just part of it. But I think if you can, it's a super important choice to make.
Yeah. I feel like I'm spending a lot of money when I do it, and I think, well, but this is what I'm getting, and I have to trust the process, because I don't have the eye. I'm not that kind of artist. I don't really have a sense of what's going to work visually and what's not. Even if I knew about publishing, just from an art point of view, right? I feel it's best if I trust someone who knows what they're doing.
For sure, yeah. And somebody that can take that stress off of you, because I can't imagine having I tried designing a book cover for myself, and I was like, this is awful. And I spent hours on the thing, and I was like, this is just going to be terrible. It looks like I've been cutting and sticking at school, and it just looks awful. And then I asked somebody to do some work for it, and I was blown away immediately. And I thought, yeah, that's why they're the artist and I'm not. Because it makes a big difference. So, do you write music as well as writing fiction?
Yes, I do. In fact, the first thing I ever published was a music book.
No kidding.
And yeah, I'm going to say something, and I cannot pretend this is not boasting, but I'm really excited about it.
Do it.
So the Associated Board, who do the music exams, the most famous grade music exams around the world, they've taken one of my pieces into their grade 6 sax syllabus starting next year, and that came from a book of saxophone music that I published myself a few years ago.
That's so cool. That is so cool. Oh my god. Yeah, definitely boast about that. You should boast about that more, because that's, I don't know anyone else that has done that. So well done. That's very exciting. How long ago did you publish it?
So that would have been 2018. And it takes some time for things to happen, but actually, the nicest thing was I found about the publication from my old saxophone teacher, who was looking through the syllabuses and saw my name on it. Yeah, it was a really nice message to get.
Yeah, no kidding. You think that they would give you a call or be like, "Hey, we're going to use your music"? That's still cool. That's very cool. So, is the type of publishing that you had to do for that book similar to publishing fiction? Like, how did they?
That it's limited by my knowledge, yes. But I had different avenues that worked differently for things like so as for publishing music, I knew loads of other saxophone players who could be like art readers. I could basically send them copies out, and then they could try them out on their pupils and things, and that was a way to spread word, get them to write reviews. It's very much like recruiting arcs. And then but I tried paying somebody a small amount of money for some promotion, and that didn't go anywhere. I thought, I remembered them when I brought the first novel out. I thought, well, maybe they're better for fiction. They're actually worse for fiction. They specialised in niche stuff, but they just didn't have many contacts for newly published sheet music. Whereas when it comes to fiction, I think the market's just so saturated. There are just so many great books out there, and getting attention is really difficult. No matter how good a job you've done or how many people you know, there's still a lot of luck involved.
I totally agree, and it also doesn't always matter how much money you spend, because you see people, like, for instance, putting out Facebook ads or something similar, and it's so luck of the draw half the time. And I'm sure there's a formula, but they keep changing the algorithms for things, and it's really hard to keep up with what's going on and what you're supposed to do and what's important. But yeah, it's sometimes it is about who you know, and if you have like contacts in bookstores, or if you know a lot of people that can help you to shout about the thing, you're so right. It's so oversaturated, and basically everyone I mean, I only speak to writers, so I was going to say everybody that I know has written a book. It's just because they're writers and that's what they do. But it's not like special to have written a book, but it's special to have written a really good book, because not everybody has the skill to get it polished and have something that's engaging, and then everybody's taste's different. So yeah, it's not easy. I mean, with your fiction work, how have you found the marketing aspect of things? Has it been just casual for you? Have you stressed about it?
I have a bit casually, but the best success I had was before I left the UK, when I was able to attend a few fairs, craft fairs, book fairs, and I got to meet people in person and bring some paperbacks. And for the time I spent there, sold what I thought was a decent number of copies. And in order to do that in India, I'm going to have to find an Indian printer and distributor. I use Ingram for most of the world, and that's fine. But as far as paperbacks go, they cost a certain amount to print, which you can equate to an affordable retail price. But the Indian economy is so different. The typical price for a paperback here would be seen as obscenely expensive. Everything's cheap here, basically. So I need to produced here on the same economy scale, and then I can sell them at a corresponding price, and then I can hopefully start marketing in India as well, and attending in-person events, because I do think in-person events is the best thing you do, because throwing stuff online, it'd be optimistic to call it potluck. A lot of the time you're giving money to people who are just going to keep it, or maybe who don't intend to just keep it but don't really know what they're doing, or they do know what they're doing, but there is so many authors out there trying to do the same thing that even if you give them a good budget, they can only do so much. You mentioned Facebook ads, and I remember trying to sell my music books there, and what I found was if you have a per click payment plan, the clicks just get eaten up farms, and the cynic in me is wondering if Facebook is encouraging people to do that, possibly giving them a percentage.
Possibly.
I don't know if that's happening. I couldn't possibly accuse them of it. I'm not in a position to do that, but it was a thought I had.
Yeah. I can understand why you might be cynical. And I've heard a lot of good things about in-person events, and I think once you find the ones that work the best for you, I mean, these two particular books feel like they would be easy to market to a wider range of people than something that's really niche, because this is like a familiar format that people can go, oh, I've read books like this. I'm not saying they're the same as anything else, but it's not scary. They're not necessarily taking as much of a chance as some like really niche fantasy thing that nobody can relate to, or that isn't trending or whatever. But yeah, I've heard
for some reason, all the friends I've made on Twitter are writing fantasy. Maybe that's just my personality matches with theirs. So it makes me feel like fantasy is the most popular thing, but I think that's just how the Twitter algorithm has shaped what I see.
Yeah, I think so. There's a lot of fantasy on Twitter.
I have no idea who sees what I tweet. I know who follows me, but that's not the same thing.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, those two things are not related. I've noticed, and I'll get like, if you've got a few thousand followers, I might be lucky if I get like 20 views on something, and I just think this is just such a waste of time sometimes, like not interacting with people. I love all the friends that I've made on Twitter and the engagement that I get. I'm not ungrateful for it, but sometimes I do wonder, like, you spend so much time on social. I mean, I do spend so much time on social media, and for what exactly, I don't know, other than making connections maybe, but you don't always get contact with nice people, and sometimes they're really rude, or it's just a bit of a cesspool. I like it and I don't like it at the same time. I think something that we are missing now is human interaction, like genuine human interaction. So I can see why in-person events would be successful, because you then get the chance to be like, hello, I'm a real human and I poured my heart into this thing and I'd really like it if you read it, please. And that works so much better than somebody scrolling past the cover or scrolling past like the 50th spam link that you've put under somebody else's post or whatever of your book. Yeah.
I'd be lying if I said no one's bought a book off me tweeting about it, but I think most of the time I'm just going to annoy people that are just going to see something that I've already tweeted. I've already promoted my books as far as they're concerned. They don't want to see it again, so I don't want to keep doing it. I'm just going to annoy people. I don't want to be that kind of author who goes on about their figures, because whether you're doing well or you're not doing well, you're either bragging or you're pity marketing. And I think to be online, you're representing who you are as a person, and you're using your professional side. And if someone, especially if they are a pure reader, they're not writing as well, sees you and just sees you getting excited about what's happening or depressed about what's happening, like, oh, they haven't made it yet, so maybe I shouldn't be interested in their book because they're still at an early stage of their career. And that's genuine. If people are at an early stage of their career and they want to talk about it, I can understand that. But I want to pretend, just give an impression that I kind of know what I'm doing, even if I don't. Let people decide that I don't from what I've written, not from what I've tweeted.
Yeah, that's a really good point. That's a really good point, actually. That's something that I think people maybe need to consider a bit more. I think you're totally right, because if you just let people assume that you are unequipped or that you don't do well because of whatever reason, then people might assume that it's because your books aren't very good before they've even given them a chance. So, yeah, fascinating. We have a question from KP Malloy. So he
Hello.
says, I want to know when you decided to live life barefoot and what led to that decision. I assumed it was an occasional thing until I read your book and saw your tattoo video.
Okay, so I'll just before I answer that, I'll mention that KP Malloy has read 4 and 20 Blackbirds boards. So I'm making a mistake. Other people might know it's Blackboards. It's a nod to the Christie title Blackbirds, but it's connected to a school teacher, so hence Blackboards. Anyway, and we talked about this. Yeah, I don't wear shoes. I haven't owned any shoes for about 10 years now, and there are basically 3 reasons why. The actual answer to the question. One is I get very hot hands and feet, and I find it very uncomfortable if I haven't got air circulation, keeping my hands and feet cool. I like having the freedom to use all my joints and keep my balance and move easily. I've had weak knees in the past, and the other reason is I actually like knowing what I'm walking on. I find that your brain responds very positively to more information about your surroundings. So reverb on sound sounds nice. Color images look more interesting than black and white, and if you go for a walk and you can underneath you, same sort of thing. So that's why. That's not the answer to the question. I realized you want to know when, and I've felt like that since I was really young. Actually, even when I was too little to make the decision for myself, I would have made it, but the adults in my life thought otherwise. But when I left home for the first time, went to uni, I started doing it for myself, and I gradually shifted my workload so I could take on jobs where I didn't have to put on a pair of shoes until I got to the point where I didn't need to keep any at all.
Wow. I did not know that about you, and that is very cool.
You've read Anybody Can Murder, and you see a lot of that in Lance Pomegranate, in the protagonist.
I don't
Uh,
notice things like that, so it's fascinating. Is that something where you poured yourself into the
I,
books?
I did, yeah. Now, actually, I hadn't thought of this until now, but one of the other ideas I had going into creating this series and writing this book, alongside wanting to do the murder mystery and the humor and everything else, um, quite a while ago, somebody brought out a non-fiction book, sort of giving you advice on how to live barefoot, or what the pros and cons, or all of this. And it was very much aimed at Americans who face a lot more social resistance than the rest of the
Mm,
world. Although I hear that Americans in the barefoot circles I mingle in online say that. I've been to the US and had almost no hassle at all.
interesting.
But anyway, people are bringing out these books, and they include things that I don't agree with. And I thought, well, I'd like to do my own one
Mm,
that dispels some of the pseudoscientific nonsense like earthing, which requires electricity to move the wrong way and then cure cancer. I thought, let's do this properly, and then I realised, but who would read it apart from people already converted to this
mm.
anyway? Why not just embed it into some fiction instead,
Oh,
and have a free and let people pick up what I like to think of as the facts along the way.
that's so random. Honestly, I wasn't expecting anything to do with feet today, and yet here we are getting the history of it. That's unexpected. I was trying to think of something funny to say, and honestly, I can't. I
Right.
think it's just cool that you're able to do that. Is that something that is easier to do now where you live?
Yeah, in India, I get all the same stares that I get in the UK, except people want to know where I'm from. They're staring at me because I'm foreign. Where I'm from. They hardly notice that I haven't got any shoes on, because a lot of them haven't got any shoes on either most of the time.
Well, there you go. I mean, it seems like you've pretty much picked the best country for you because you get to do all of the fun things, and it sounds like it's a lot chiller just from what you said. Is it chiller? Is
Yeah.
it nicer? What's it like? I've never been.
Uh, yeah, there are some massive pros. The climate is lovely and consistent, and so you're always in a good mood.
Mm,
You're never going to have the weather ruin things
mm,
for you. I mean, actually, people here say, "Oh, I hope it's not too sunny today." They complain about the heat sometimes, whereas I'm loving it because it's still new for me.
mm.
And then it might drop down to say 19 degrees in the evening, and everyone's dressed as if it's 12 or 10, and I'm going out in sleeveless top, and I was like, "I'm sorry, I can't offer you my coat. I'm not wearing one, but I'm loving it now."
Yeah.
Um, and generally, everyone's very friendly, especially if you're a musician. They want to invite you into their
Mhm,
home and share their dinner with you before you know their
mhm.
names. It's great. There are cons, like if you want to get something done, like open a bank account. There's a lot of situations where you'll walk into a place and they'll just tell you whatever they think you want to hear, hoping that it won't matter 5 minutes later when you call them out on it. So the organisation isn't great, and some of these lovely, friendly people become. You haven't started swearing yet, so I won't. But just imagine I've just sworn about these same lovely people, these split-fisted, impatient, entitled people. As soon as they get behind the steering wheel of a car,
Fascinating.
then it's like honk, honk, get out of the way, as if by honking as hard as they can, well, the traffic in front of them will just disappear somehow. Yeah, that's a bit mental.
Oh,
Um,
sounds like Italy.
but generally, I'm having a good time. It's out where I am now in this rural area, Humpy. Everything is so chilled.
Mm.
Everyone is so friendly. I can't get 5 minutes down the road on foot without someone offering me a lift.
Oh,
Um, Great.
that sounds nice. That's so different to what I know London to be like. It's been weird for me because I come from southeast, like in Kent,
Oh, Kent, right.
England, and moving to Texas, massive culture shock. It's right, massive culture shock, and the I find myself saying I just want a storm or some rain or something because it is just so hot sometimes. It was like 28 degrees on Christmas Day. It was ridiculous. And I was like sweating, and now it's freezing cold, but it's blazing sunshine, so you'll still get sunburn but also frostbite. It's not quite that bad, but it's what? Sorry.
Sounds like a British Christmas day. Bright sun in the sky, blue sky, absolutely freezing.
Yes.
Yeah, none of that here. If it looks hot, it is hot.
Yeah.
If it looks cold, it's probably hot anyway.
I used to be a trainer, so I used to do corporate training, and it was all distance learning. And we brought in a team from India, and I was just about to leave the company like a month after I taught this group of people, and they were the nicest, easiest to teach people that I have ever taught anything. So I've done training in most of the jobs I've done. And I got the chance. They invited me to go and visit there, and there was like a window where we had to get a visa because I was thinking like when you said you had difficulties with the visa, we had to send off passports to get a visa or something, and I was like, I'm leaving the country a month after. I can't do that, and I was absolutely gutted. And somebody else went in my place, and I saw all the pictures on LinkedIn, and I was like, it looks so nice there. I really wanted to go. I was gutted.
It's a difficult battle. If you were going for anything work related, you can get business visa. It's slightly more complicated. The employment visa is a very long saga, which would be here all night if I were to recount it. So that's why I mentioned the bank instead. But anything like that involving paperwork, be prepared for several goose chases with hoops all the way along them to jump through, and only to get to the end that actually you started in the wrong place and went in the wrong direction.
Yeah. I already get stressed about visa stuff for here because obviously I'm a permanent resident rather than a citizen, and man, that was stressful. It was one of the most stressful experiences in my life, actually. It feels really weird. It's such a transient state to be in where you're like, am I allowed to be here? How long am I allowed to be here? Can I keep staying here? And you have to wait until the powers that be tell you that you can, and they're like, oh, it's going to be 18 months until you find out, but you can only stay for 10, and it's stressful. Don't like it.
Yeah, I still can't check into a hotel easily because they're equipped to process Indian citizens and they're equipped to process foreign tourists, but they're not really equipped to process foreign residents.
Yes, you're a secret third thing.
So I come in on my employment visa and my permanent address, which is about 2 miles from where I'm sitting now. And then they say, but where's your Irish address? Because I often use my Irish passport, or your UK address, because I give my UK number for WhatsApp if they want it. And I'll say, well, actually, I don't really have one. I mean, I've never had a permanent address in Ireland. I don't have my own address in London anymore. I could give my family's address, but should I have to? I've got the right to live there. I've got the right to work here. Yes, I'm foreign, but I'm also a resident. The system doesn't have a thing for that.
So odd.
I had to get my band leader to send me some of his ID for them just to complete their registration, whatever they have to do. I mean, they'd already checked me in and given me my keys by then, but they were still chasing me up for things. It's weird. The bureaucracy is not very robust here.
That's not appealing, but I feel like it would be fun to go on holiday.
Oh yeah, if you are a foreign tourist, then all you need is ID and a visa, and you'll have a great time.
Okay, sold. I'll put that on my list of places to go. So, were you born in Ireland?
No, actually, I was born in Bath.
Okay.
Half my family is Irish, so all my dad's side. His parents met in London, but they were born in Waterford and Carlow, not far from each other. I got my Irish passport in 2009 before it was cool. Everybody said, you won't need that, what's the point?
And then the prophecy foretold. That's fascinating. So have you been to Ireland?
Yeah, several times.
I imagine it to be...
I went through Dublin on the way to the US in July.
Yeah, I have...
That way, where they do all the US border control in Dublin. So once you land in the US, it's like a domestic flight. It's very surreal. I got there, and instead of seeing any signs to passport control, I was seeing shops.
It's weird, isn't it?
Restaurants we could eat. Yeah.
Were they as scary in Ireland as they were in...
No, no, they weren't, and I'm going to be careful not to say anything too political
That's
here.
okay.
No, there was a very nice gentleman, and he asked me my passport, and he asked me some very simple questions, and he accepted my answers first time, and um, and he didn't ask to see my Esther,
Mm.
which was annoying because I went of getting it, and I thought, oh, maybe I have to show it at the other end, and of course I didn't because that was everything I needed to do. Yeah, so yeah, it was pretty straightforward. I think I don't know, but maybe working in Ireland, they just deal with more foreigners, and they're a little bit okay with the
A
idea.
little bit okay with the idea is a very sensible choice of words. My friend came to visit a little while ago. It was like maybe a month ago. And I always ask her, because she comes quite often, I always ask her, oh, how was the border? And this time she was like, well, they were kind of rude. And the man was holding my passport and eating a boiled egg. And I thought, yeah, that sounds right.
I did have a funny little encounter on the way back from my previous visit to the
Mm.
US. And I'd done all the security and everything, and we were just waiting to board at the gate. And for some reason, there were some more security people at the gate. This was in Logan Airport, Boston, and um, and these two security chaps came after up towards me. I wouldn't say after me; they weren't chasing me or anything. But
Oh, there
they
we
came,
go.
one of them did all the talking, and he was just asking me why I didn't have any shoes on, and it became very clear very quickly that this was just personal curiosity. He wasn't challenging me or anything. He just had to know. I thought that's fine. So I had a nice conversation with him, and then his final question put me on the spot because I'd heard all these horror stories about don't make any jokes, don't laugh at them, don't say anything stupid. But his question was, and they let you through security like that? And I thought, oh, and this was in 2013, where so I just kept a straight face as I could, and I just said, "Actually, they prefer it." And then I walked away. I could crack up, or he could realize how stupid he'd been.
That's so funny. That's so funny. Oh my goodness. I it, it scares me going through the border because in my mind I'm like, I know I've done nothing wrong, but I assume that I've accidentally done something wrong, and they're going to find me out somehow because I don't know what I haven't done, and it's one of the most stressful experiences I think. Um, Sarah has had similar. Been to the US once, and it felt like a fever dream. It does, honestly. Um, I tell you what, I still haven't gotten used to is hearing American accents coming from children. I don't know what it is. The adults I can deal with. The children, I think that sounds fake. I don't understand. Your children, you're supposed to have British accents to me because that's what I grew up with. So it just freaks me out. I'm like, what the fuck? There you go.
Well, I hear children speaking 6 different languages, all in Indian accents. Yeah,
It's impressive.
and I don't have a problem with that because it doesn't sound American, I suppose.
Yeah. I think it is, and this is not supposed to be rude or anything, but I think to me, because I grew up watching a lot of American television, to me it's like cartoons when I hear people speak, and especially if they've got like a really thick southern accent, because in Texas, like the people that I'm around a lot of the time, a lot of them were from Ohio, so they haven't got that thick southern accent. And then you'll meet someone that sounds like a proper cowboy, and you're like, what are you saying? I've no idea. And then they get excited because I've got a British accent, and they're like, do an American accent, and I'm like, please don't ask me to perform for you, it's very stressful.
You get asked that. I got a few comments of, "Oh, I could listen to your accent all day while being served food in a restaurant and stuff." I thought, well, that's very nice. I'll just sit here and talk to you all day if you keep bringing me food.
I do think there is this. It's helpful in some regards, especially if the people that are talking to you like the Brits. Obviously, you come across people that don't like the Brits for some whatever reason it is, and I get away with
That's why I
it.
flash my passport everywhere.
What? Sorry.
That's why I flash my Irish passport everywhere.
Safer. But yeah, I find that like people assume that I am a lot more intelligent than I am because of the accent. I don't know where they get that from. And they also assume that I come from like a posh family. I don't. They're very normal
You've-
people. Sorry, what?
Are you from Orpington?
No, I'm not from Orpington.
Not that bad.
No, I'm from largely like the Canterbury area, kind of near Dover.
It's posh.
That's not posh.
Can't get
Into
from that.
Dover, come on. That's not posh.
Okay.
Canterbury's a student town, honestly. I get picked up
I'm
on.
from Canterbury a few times. I've done gigs there with bands. Yeah, it's got some history. I did my first ever escape room in Canterbury, I think.
Yes, there's one in a tower. It's like an archway.
Yes, that was the one.
Yeah.
That's the one. I had a good time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a really, really cool place to be. I miss Canterbury a lot. It's stunning and the food's good. Orpington jump scare. Yes. I did know a lady from Orpington and she was super nice, but it's awful to drive around. That's all I know about it, really. And Ohio is.
I don't know a lot of, but I was going to say Orpington train station has a very nice piano in it. I was not expecting to find that.
It has a what?
Piano in the train station.
Oh.
Which is not uncommon in the big London terminal. Yeah. But Orpington has a nice grand piano. I enjoyed playing it a few years ago while waiting for someone.
I wouldn't have guessed that, if I'm being honest. From the little I know about Orpington.
I was.
Yeah. Oh, good for them. Have a bit of culture. So Ohio is the one American region without an accent.
Oh, you mean where they speak like me, where they just pronounce things properly?
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably. I get made fun of a lot because I drop my T's and I say, like, instead of vodka, I say vodka. I don't know why, because I'm from Kent, so I don't know where that comes from. I'm not from the West Country, but I am.
Or Suffolk, isn't it?
What? Sorry. Oh yeah, I get made fun of a lot, and also the nieces and nephews that I have here, because my husband has a massive family and there's lots of children. They always say, "Aunt Saf, water bottle," all the time, all the time. I love it. There's some caricature. I suppose I see them as a caricature. They see me as a caricature. I also agree. I am terrible with all geography, all of it. I thought you needed a passport to get into Wales, but the entire middle of the US is Ohio. I agree. It's just cut up into chunks.
Okay, but where do you define the middle?
The centre bit. You just pick. It's just a random middle. This is this middle, not this middle. I think it's the horizontal middle. Correct me if I'm wrong, Sarah, but I'm pretty sure that's correct. Anyway, that was
still coast to coast, but halfway between Mexico and Canada, sort of thing.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's a fair assumption.
Okay, but I'll go with that. Okay.
Midwest. I've tried some Midwest salads that aren't salads, and they are strange.
Glasgow.
What? Sorry.
Are they like Glasgow salads?
I don't know what a Glasgow salad is.
Just a portion of
no, that's delicious. I'm fine with that potato-based salad situation. No, this is like jelly and whipped cream all mixed up in a mush, or there's like marshmallows involved. It's usually a questionable color.
So it's birthday party food.
Yes, it's just like birthday party food. Yeah. It's not the thing I would normally have, but it's an experience. And this was a very weird tangent to go off on when we should be talking about your work. So just to go over, so you have two books out at the moment, two fiction books out at the moment. So you've got 4 and 20 blackboards. Anybody Can Murder. If you're in the UK and you want to pick up a paperback of 4 and 20 blackboards on Amazon UK, it's £4 cheaper at the moment. I don't know how long that goes on for, but I think they just did it randomly. I didn't ask you.
I think they'll probably do it until all of that stock's gone, and then hopefully they'll order some more.
Okay, cool. Nice one. So, is there anything that we haven't covered that you want to make sure that our listeners and viewers know about?
Right. So we've covered the 2 books that are out. We've covered the next book that's coming. And we've covered a lot of nonsense about party food and Orpington. I think that's it.
That's a guarantee with this show, that we'll talk about books for a bit and then it'll be some nonsense. And that's my favorite part, honestly. I like talking about the books, but once you get to know the person that's that's written the book, all of a sudden the book becomes more valuable to me, in terms of like the richness of the story and why did they put this in it. And now, as I'm reading the rest of Anybody Can Murder, I know that I'm going to find more of you in it, and I'm going to pick it up and I'm going to go, that is Ellie Bendon.
I would like to ask how far through Anybody Can Murder you've got to, if you're able to answer that without spoiling anything. Anyway.
I can tell you the percentage. I'm
Okay,
30% of the way through, which is not a lot, but I am not, well, I'm a fast reader usually, but when I'm reading a book for a show, I don't like to speed through it because I don't want to like miss stuff. But once I find parts that I'm like, this is you, I'm just going to message you.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really been a lot of fun to read, and as I said before, I don't know if it was.
I'll send you a copy of the other book as well, and the new one when it's ready.
Oh, thank you. I'd love that. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it, and it's so my sense of humor, and like the way the characters interact with each other, they are so so sassy. I appreciate that because that's my sense of humor. So yeah, I know that this is going to be. It kind of reminded me a little bit of like the Knives Out format in terms of like the speed that it's going through all of what's going on. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. So I urge anyone that loves a whodunit or a murder mystery to go and check this out. Very British humour, a lot of fun, doesn't dawdle, and it's interesting. There you go. Cool. Well, have you got any plans?
Thank you very much.
Of course, it's been a pleasure. Yeah. Do you have any plans for tonight?
Well, the background music you can hear, I'm going to go a bit nearer to it and have some fun and have a few drinks and might even dance. I don't do that often, but once a year, why not?
Have a boogie. Have a boogie. Enjoy yourself, and I hope you have a lovely time. And thank you so much for spending the time.
And you in a few hours' time. I know you've got a little bit of a wait, but
I will not be up until midnight. I can tell you that for free. I am too. My body, my mind, and my spirit are too old to be playing like that anymore. I did it a lot when I was young, and I burnt out far too early. So I'm just like, it's 9:30. I need to go to bed and read. So I'll probably be reading your book, to be honest. That'll be how I see the new year in.
That is a wonderful compliment that you'd be doing that in New Year. So thank you.
You're welcome. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you have a lovely time tonight, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to everyone. Yeah.
Right. I'll see you guys later, and Happy New Year to the rest of you. I'm looking directly at the camera. Okay. Bye.